We're here today with the authors of the new book, Montgomery's Historic Neighborhoods, Carole King and Karren Pell. The book is due out on July 14th. We're having a party on July the 23rd, I think. 22nd, I believe. And they're here to tell us about the book. So, Carole, why don't you start and tell us a little bit about the book?
I'm up first. Well, we've been haunting everybody.
I'm Karren Pell.
That's good. We've been haunting everybody for 18 months now, telling you to get in those closets, pull out your pictures, and we had a great response. It took a while. It's like herding cats for a while.
It's only our lives that we were waiting on to write these books, but we've got it. We've got it.
And we came up with about 350, something like that. We had a lot of specs that we had to meet by the Arcadia publishers, who actually produced the book for us. So we came across a lot of good pictures, but we couldn't use. And we came across a lot of good pictures that didn't have a story. They didn't belong to anybody, but we came across even more good pictures that
we were clueless. Oh, that we couldn't use. We came up with some fabulous pictures that were just going, what is this? So, you know, we might get folks to help us.
So as a footnote, always label your pictures on the back. Always, always, always label your pictures on the back. But we have 200 pictures here. We have we went about dividing them
by neighborhood. All right, so we have a chapter for each historic neighborhood. Plus, we have a chapter we call Downtown that has a lot of structures that are famous and that you would miss if it wasn't in a Montgomery.
Well, why don't we stop and say what are the historic neighborhoods and how did they make the cut?
Well, it's designation.
We tried to we had to put some specs on that too. So we went by what are either locally designated, recognized by the city of Montgomery, and/or National Register districts.
Okay.
So that would include Cottage Hill, Capitol Heights, Cloverdale, Idlewild. We had this downtown sort of a miscellaneous, which the interstate took out a lot of the ones. We had Old Line Street District, which a lot of people may or may not know, but it's over, it runs west of Court Street.
What street?
Old Line Street. You now know it is West Jeff Davis.
Line. It was the original city line.
Okay.
Old Line.
That I never heard of. So
West Jeff Davis.
West Jeff Davis and Centennial Hill.
Did y'all learn anything you didn't know?
Everything.
What didn't we learn?
Did you learn something you couldn't put in the book?
Oh
we
yeah,
learned a
we
lot
got
of
that
things.
too.
We have lots of novels to come out of this. At least 3 more of these kinds of books, and lots of really good.
But I'll tell you the most important thing I learned. We just kept looking for pictures of the neighborhoods, and we kept having such a hard time. And I went, what is the deal? What is the deal? And finally one day I went back through Mary Ann Neely's book, the way it is, the way it was, the way. And I went, they didn't have cameras. They were living it, but you know, Cloverdale and Capitol Heights was considered kind of country living, and they didn't have cameras to take pictures of their birthday parties and their homes and everything. So that's why we have some really early pictures, but most of the pictures start about 1910, 1915, when the personal camera became available.
That's interesting.
And also, you don't see interior shots because there was no flash or there was no lighting. So most of the things around the turn of the century and early 20th century, you're going to see birthday parties outside, pictures of the house, of social occasions, goat carts.
Goat carts.
The family dog.
Love goat carts.
The new car.
Yeah, we said we could do a whole book on dogs. We love the dog pictures.
You should think about that. Those are very popular books.
We love the dog.
Now let me ask you this: we've been selling books about Montgomery for a long time at the bookstore. All of them have got pictures in them, and a lot of them are the same pictures. Did y'all find any new pictures? And where'd you go to find new pictures?
The majority of these are new pictures. The majority of these are new pictures. And they are from family collections, the majority of them. Some from landmarks. Montgomery County
Historical Society
Oh, James Fuller was
are
such a
basically
help.
the only 2 institutions other than some churches. No library, no archive. They're kind of These are new
Even
and
the
different.
churches are unpublished pictures. You know, they're pictures that were just in their archives and that they let us print. So this is new, all new stuff.
It's new old stuff. It was an old new stuff.
So we're real proud of that, and that makes it exciting too.
So I guess y'all would urge people who have pictures of old Montgomery to maybe scan them, donate them, turn them into the Montgomery County Historical Society, maybe,
Or landmarks.
Or
or landmarks, or okay.
Or you know, keep them, pass them down for themselves, but just make sure you mark them.
Right on the back.
Right. We've had an owner surface on a picture that disappeared. You know, like, where did you get that picture? That's my picture. You know, and it, you know, he lost touch with it several decades ago, and here it surfaced again. You know, so there's all kinds. They have great stories, and we followed several families through several generations and several decades and several neighborhoods too, which was kind of one of the misconcerning type of things that we ran across, because since we were doing it neighborhood by neighborhood, we couldn't keep the family pictures together. Sometimes they would live in, you know, as they moved through the years, they moved to another neighborhood, then their pictures would pick up in another neighborhood. So that was, you know, one of the less organizing things we had to deal with. So
Well, let me ask you this. One thing that always seems to me to be lacking in these books are pictures and stories of the African American community. Did y'all get into that, or?
We've got Centennial Hill. We got the whole neighborhood, and we have family pictures and children walking to church, and we're really proud of the Centennial Hill chapter.
All right, then let me ask you this.
You just ask us, Thomas. You just.
well, go ahead.
Which one of you would say is the John Lennon of this team, and which one is the Paul McCartney?
Oh, that's a little scary. I was going to go more like the Ringo thing. You know? Oh, you know it don't come easy. No, it didn't come easy. Well, Karren's the writer. Karren has the writing style, the ease, you know, the spontaneity and the determination and all that kind of stuff. You know, now I can edit, but Karren's the writer. We coughed up, and she's got the finesse with the families, and she was very, very good at that, making the phone calls, no stranger at all to anybody. And, you know, then we would hear of this, that, and the other, and we'd just go after it. So
Now,
we were hound dogs. We were hound dogs on the trail. Coon dogs on the trail.
Now, Karren, you've written a book like this about Tallahassee.
Right.
And Carole, you've been interested in Montgomery history for a long time. Did y'all learn anything in this project that shattered some preconception or something you thought you had known about Montgomery that you found out was wrong?
no, but we've opened a lot of can of worms since then. We have not. I can't think of anything in particular. Now, this book, according to the publisher's specifications, they're very standardized. So each neighborhood has a brief history. You know, that's not what the book is about. The book is pictorial, and then we are given the opportunity to go into detail, a little more detail of describing the pictures. So,
I think I was surprised on the influence of the trolley on developing these neighborhoods. I don't think I realized that was the push. You know, I think I thought that they just kind of filled up with downtown and wandered a little bit and could get lots out there, and that's the way it went. But it wasn't. It wasn't spontaneous. It was planned. In fact, it was Highland Park.
Highland Park
was actually planned by a man that had interest in the trolley.
Oh, really?
You know, yeah, and the founders of Capitol Heights made arrangements. You know, that Madison Avenue would always be a public thoroughfare with the trolleys, and how important the trolley was because they didn't have cars.
Okay, well, so tell me again, the launch party for this book, the very first event is going to be when?
It's going to be him.
Yeah.
On
Capital Booking News.
Capital Booking News. On July 22nd, which is Thursday, from 4 to 6.
Great. We're looking forward to it.